Miguel with Cafecito Crew Gaming. Hoping that you're enjoying this new theme we have. Little refreshing wallpaper here to bring you into our episodes. Let us know if you like it. Like, comment, and subscribe to our channels. We have several, but right now, if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, thanks for watching. Please spread the word and let others know. For now, what we wanted to talk about today, honestly, was some Gamescom stuff. So, let's just go on with it. I think Gamescom was fantastic this year. Mostly because it feels like a lot of people dropped out of E3 and just showed up here. There were a couple games that kept dropping extra information, especially a couple beautiful games, which I can't wait to talk about with you. Just to let you know, we did have Brian stream, as he always does on Monday, with more Final Fantasy IX. Please watch him on Mondays. I will be on tomorrow with some Rocket League. The new season started. The new season kind of snuck up on me, so I'll just say that real quick. I honestly was super hyped about trying to make that push after how well the stream went the other day. Getting the not Champ 3, but Diamond 3. Unfortunately, the gods decided that the timing wasn't right to get Champ. It's not a big deal, honestly. It's one of those things of life. You just run out of time. You got so much stuff on your plate. So, that's actually the case with most of the team tonight. Everyone's got their things, work or life events. So don't hold it against them because they have super real reasons, super life reasons on why they're not here. But just like with E3 week, when they're not here, I still am, and I will still provide you the contents. And so, Gamescom ended up being pretty strong this year, like I said. Some more details on games that I wasn't really sure about, like Blair Witch, which is the first trailer we're going to cover tonight. Man, I still feel like this is a super bizarre game and bizarre timing for it. I feel like the equivalent of if they made The Outer Worlds into a game called The Fifth Element. It could have been the exact same game, but you're Lilu and you're trying to save the universe. I just feel like that's the vibe I'm getting from it. It's like you're out of place in this time and era, but I don't know, man. It has that psychological horror thing. Maybe the reason I'm kind of used to what I'm looking at here is because there's a lot of games that have come out, especially on VR, especially PlayStation VR. Let's just be more accurate. At least the ones I've had experience with have all been on PlayStation VR so far. But they've had games like the Exorcism games, which have been like chapters or episodic content, going from place to place, trying to cover all these weird things around the Exorcist, and I get a lot of the same vibes or same I don't know, maybe scare tactics, if you will, playing this game, or not playing this game but watching it. They did confirm that you're gonna be able to pet the dog, and it comes out this week, guys. So if you're into horror and you're kind of tired of playing stuff like Resident Evil 2 ad infinitum, the remake is fantastic. But if you need your fix, the Blair Witch actually looks like it might be the one. There's another game that was kind of similar to Observation that came out. I'll get the name for you guys on that, and I will cover other things if you guys want to mention it in the feed. And we'll cover it right here on the spot if you want. Honestly, this is a little bit ad lib because I was kind of hoping for everyone's game of the show, but I'm gonna kind of take shots at it, assuming that it's kind of like a little bit of everybody on this episode in the form of the list I picked. So the next game was Disintegration, and at first I'm like, I don't know what to make of this. But you get props whenever you're a member of the original Halo team. And so you get a lot of vibes that just the way machines work in this universe and the Kate-like feel of this character in general, walking around on a bike, giving it a little pep talk. You kind of I got that Cade 6 vibe from him, and maybe that's a good thing considering. Spoilers: Cade Six been dead for a while. Um, but this game also, they're saying it's a mix of RTS and shooter. So if you're a fan of neither, you're GTFOing immediately. I get it, but there's something about these cutscenes and the characters they're already developing in these opening videos for a game you've never seen before. That's kind of cool. I kind of want to see more of this. I won't lie. Definitely get that Destiny vibe from the cloaked figure in the distance. But this part definitely is a mix of everything. It feels like I got somebody playing Anthem on my screen while other people are playing Halo. I got some tactics involved because I'm throwing my units in front of me. It's a lot going on. If there's co-op in this, would be probably my best guess that would be the optimal way to play this, because it's a little hectic. It almost feels like when you're in an RTS like StarCraft and you're actually down on the ground and you're one of the units. Like you're one of well, man, what's the name of those mechs the Terrans had? I think they were Goliaths. I think. But that's how I feel. I get like I'm on the ground in a real-time strategy game like Command and Conquer. And that seems interesting because some of those fights, even from a real-time strategy perspective, really strong. So if this game can fulfill that, where you're like on the ground and you're in the shit all the time, that's good stuff, honestly, in my opinion. But yeah, Disintegration. Honestly, the real reason it gets a little bit more clout is just because they threw out the Halo name there. And I'm not sure if Bungie's happy about that, but it is what it is. Bungie's got their own stuff to worry about. Now we're going to go into some of the heavy hitters. Death Stranding. So Kojima dropped it felt like 6 different trailers during Gamescom, but this was the kind of the first one that they dropped on their hashtag opening night live with Jeff Keighley. Shocker, Jeff Keighley got the scoop again. And even more so because in this video, things get very weird. You have your Norman Reedus whipping out his Norman Petus and peeing all over the place. There's a urinate counter here. And that's bizarre on its own. But even more bizarre is what happens once you're done peeing, ladies and gentlemen. What is about to happen? I can only want to describe it, except, Mario eats these in other universes. Norman pees them out, apparently. Yeah. And also, what was with that, I need to walk and stretch my balls out strut? It wasn't just him dodging stuff. And so this whole trailer was just him kind of following the sound, someone screaming out his name. He, this radar gets used and he finds the Ludens fan. Ludens is the name of the big dude that's part of their logo. He's pretty much their mascot for the company, Kojima Productions now. But as he gets up here, whips out that ladder again. It shows you a little bit about what's going on with that ladder. It's kind of weird. The ladder is almost in the shape of a suitcase and then just extends out. Pretty bizarre stuff. And he finally gets in, and I just have to skip forward because I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he's gotten this chance. There's also some mechanics in this too that are a little weird, but Jeff Keighley is a digital character in this game. And I say digital character and not a full-on character because honestly he's not voice acting his own character. It's being done by someone else. This whole thing about the dog tags that he had before now is getting turned into a whole nother dynamic. So you're getting to see a little bit more about what's going on. For some reason the gravity shifts in this room when he charges up those dog tags, or maybe discharges them. thing is, there's still so little detail being provided here. You can take a guess here or there that they're obviously in the United States. It's like it's a fractured United States, and Norman Reedus literally has to take his character from east to west across the map in this game. Is the map going to be as big as the United States? Hopefully not. I don't want that much open worldness. That's where you get to those excessive levels. If it's something on par with Grand Theft Auto 5, that probably would be fine, honestly. There's enough places to hide in that game for sure from cops and stuff. So if you can hide from the baddies in this way. And the funny thing about this too is just how happy-go-lucky it is for such a weird world. Like a world that's like pretty much on the verge of human extinction. But here's this dude cheering like it's not a big problem. Then they purposely walk off a cliff. He doesn't really take damage, but the baby starts crying. And so he has to rock it to stabilize it, to make it happy, to cheer it up a little bit. I can't imagine anyone's gonna want to walk off a cliff after seeing this scene, but I guess it can happen. I guess you can maybe even get hit, or maybe even stumble on a rock here or there. And the crazy thing is, then they do something like this where he can like pretty much power slide. With all this crap on his back, he can power slide and like half stumble and half run. It's pretty bizarre, honestly. But it's Death Stranding, of course it's bizarre. Oh man, I still want to play it. I still want to play it. I don't know why, but I have a feeling like you're gonna have moments in that game that no one else can have, and that might be worth the playthrough in general. And there's Jeff yucking it up. I'm so happy to. But yeah. Now a game that's just plain serious. And maybe this game needs a little bit more of that ham-fisted comedy to it. So Gears 5, you know, Kate's in some deep shit mentally, psychologically. She probably has the blood of the original queen in her, and this means bad things. So we've already played the beta. The multiplayer beta was as solid as, like, it could have came out that day and people would be happier with that than some launches of most shooters in the last 5 years, to be quite honest. And then, you know, take into account that they're still holding back on some modes, especially, you know, survival and things like that. Especially with you know, what story mode's gonna end up being, which looks like it's a actual leap as far as like actual content. Because the first game kind of was just like, hey, you know what? They were sleeping all this time and they're awake, and now we actually get some story. We get some Matrix style like swarming. You get your boy inside a mobile suit. You get skiing in lightning storms and on ice. I mean, you get a little bit of everything here. But more importantly, from what I played, I can tell you that this is as smooth an experience, gameplay-wise, as it's been. And yeah, I'm gonna play it because the biggest thing about this is that being a Microsoft exclusive, as long as you have Game Pass, you get to play this game. It's gonna come out on September 6th. It's gonna be out September 2nd for people with Game Pass. And it's gonna get a jump on the market for the holiday as far as like games you get to play, you know, ahead of time. That's a shooter. There are other games, like notable mentions like Modern Warfare. They're gonna have a 2v2 mode too. Sure, me and my friend Jamal can get some rounds in when our friends aren't on. I just hope they don't take away from other things. You know, also what's the deal with Blackout? If that's the case, you know, it gets a little weird because I to my knowledge, are not working on Blackout. Blackout's, you know, this studio's project, and Modern Warfare is going back to Infinity Ward, and they're doing their thing. So we'll see. Actually, that game's gone through so many studios at this point, I can't even remember. But the game looks fine. But you know what? It didn't look as good as The Surge 2. So, The Surge 2, I picked this because I picked it for Ari, because Ari's been streaming Neo. We're both Dark Souls fans, and this game takes everything. And you know what? Before I even say anything about the game, so Focus Interactive is probably a company you don't really think about too often when you're talking about like just gaming. And this year, this year has been their kind of like coming out party, so to speak. Like they got this and another game coming up soon that we're going to talk about coming out in the same month. That might be bad strategy, but the two games are so different in what they're trying to achieve that I'm okay with it. This is from the Dark Souls family. The first game actually wasn't received too well by Dark Souls fans, me included. I felt like there was just a little bit it was a little bit too clunky compared to like what we've been playing, which was like a polished version of Dark Souls and Dark Souls 3. Um, of course, your other clones out there are doing a better job, honestly. Neo was a significantly better game than Surge 1. But Surge 2 is just kind of like they've implemented all these little things, and I'm excited about it. They've got all these upgrades. You can look as crazy as I thought you could in the first game. It just turned out it was just more like skin changes as far as like colors and stuff. In this game, you get martial arts. That's kind of cool. You just, man, it just feels like there's so much more of a level of badassness to this, and the clunkiness feels like it's gone because the motion's a lot more streamlined. It almost feels like it's close to levels of Bloodborne, and when you're wielding heavy equipment like this, you kind of need that type of smoothness. You need to know when you're heavy, right? But you don't need to feel heavy when you're light, and that was my problem with the first game. In this game, the heavy guys look smoother than my light build from the first game. So, and bosses that just come leaping out at you, almost reminiscent of the Witcher DLC bosses, where they just got a little bit more aggressive, but they're still not like Dark Souls level with, some of those crazy area of effect attacks. These guys look a little bit more beatable in the aspect of keeping your skill up and keeping your agility up, where you can dodge these guys and then combo into it. There's a little bit more of that. Where Dark Souls is more like, I gotta poke this bear before he gets upset. And he's gonna detonate half the stage, so then I have to run away when I see the clue. Then again, we haven't played any of the bosses yet. We're just seeing a lot of leaping, a lot of like agility, and I guess that's why it came to mind. And the cool thing is in this game too, if you haven't played the Surge, is it's one of those things where you have to actually take off body parts to get extra gear. You actually are chopping off the gear that you're gonna then use, and then you also get bonuses, and there's also weak points on enemies. So some enemies might have a very strong torso and arm set, but they have weak legs, so then you can take their legs out, and then that's game over in the fight. So yeah, it's a game that is pretty exciting to me. I think it's gonna be fun, and let's see what happens with it. But it is also coming out this coming month in September. I believe it's the 24th. Let me double check. I've written down all the dates. I'm not as prepared right now. It's September 24th. Yes, I can remember things. And okay, so the reason I was mentioning Focus is because this next game, I'm just like actually kind of like enjoying just watching the montage of brutality that the Surge is providing. But this game, guys, Greedfall. Greedfall gives me all the vibes, all the good vibes, all the positive RPG vibes. This feels like a mix of Witcher, a mix of Witcher with Dragon Age, but they like the good type of Dragon Age where like characters are like more like Morrigan and less boring, like how Inquisition kind of felt boring, or even like how Mass Effect's face was tired, that type of boring. Um, but yeah, this game, Greedfall. Holy crap, guys! I know I've talked about it before, but let's go over it one more time if you're new to it. So everyone seems to have be dealing with like some sort of sickness or some sort of illness, hence those weird growths on their face. Hence his sister right in the beginning of the trailer. This happens to be your as the main character. This is going to be your sister, who looks like you're going to go. Oh God, let me freeze frame that. I'm sorry. It looks like you're going to be trying to look for a cure on this island, where pretty much corporate British America has shown up, and they're trying to do the dastardly thing of harvesting the island for its wealth, and you got a full on Avatar or Fern Gully or pick your pick your tribe, that type of situation. Now the cool thing is that there is a lot of diplomacy that happens in this game, so you can befriend one of the natives and she can join your party. You can befriend one of the four factions in this major city that are all trying to, jostle for power and gain favor. You have characters that will join you, and then you can expand upon their story with, by just helping them achieve things. And if you don't do those things, getting put in those situations where they might turn on you. And so they were going over some of these characters. As you can see, there's like medieval combat for sure, but there's also some of that magical stuff happening, and they spill out the magic through this race of people, or this tribe that you're going to encounter in your journey. You also have factions that are going to be terribly racist to these people. I'm guessing the old man's kind of racist from the way he treated her in the scene. You also have magic, and they kind of like make it more like a spirit thing, which is why I kind of lean towards The Witcher, because a lot of The Witcher stuff was less magic and more like alchemy and source. Like there was sorcery there for sure, but it was more like a side thing or something that Geralt could do more like tricks than actual magic with his flames and Axii and all that stuff. Um, but this game's just got that extra element that maybe even not even Witcher has. I know Witcher 3 had this really good thing where if you went through those side missions for a lot of the main characters, they would come help you in your time of need, which is a major battle near the end of the game. But this game looks like it could technically anything from romance to just backstabbing and like hardcore stabbing, like not just like a I stab you in the back. That was like a 4 or 5 time stab. Characters having mental breakdowns, making the wrong choice and maybe picking a fight with the wrong guy, making blood pacts with some of your teammates. Maybe making the wrong decision and losing your one of your characters just based on a decision you made, not even from a death, just because they just couldn't agree with it and you broke their conscience on it. So this game's gonna be fantastic, guys, and it comes out September 10th. So quick breakaway from this list to give you a game plan. So another game that's coming out on Friday in August 30th is is Astral Blade. And the reviews are starting to come out, and it's 8, 9s, and 10s across the board. They're raving about how high quality a game it is. We're going to pick that up. We're going to be playing that most of Saturday. And we're going to try to hope to finish that by the 10th, because Greedfall's next. It's going to start picking up quite fast here. Hope you're going to enjoy the ride. Hope you stay with us for that ride. But back to our last 2 games, because it was 7 games. We're up to game number 7. So Persona 5 Royal. I wish Maddie was here for this, but I picked this for her because she is the Persona queen here. And honestly, it's essentially a complete edition. It's the Game of the Year edition. I believe you can now play as a female. I'm just in awe of this game as far as its artistic art form and playing through the first two bosses. I'm enjoying it quite a bit, but it's also a game I know I can't stream because I'm way too methodical with RPGs. That's why you get like Brian or Maddie playing RPG instead of me because I'm just too like, ugh. Like I'll play a hack and slash RPG like Astral Chain's gonna be because I know that game's still 20 hours regardless of what I do, you know. Um, but otherwise, phew, no, no. But spring 2020, but it was still worth mentioning. Um, it's nice that it's feels like it's come out a lot sooner, but people don't realize the game's been out for like 2 years now. So coming out 3 years after with the complete edition, not such bad timing, honestly. Hopefully, also they might consider up-resing their graphics and maybe porting the PS5. I mean that would be nice, honestly, because these next consoles are gonna be powerhouses. And then the last one is Borderlands actually. And honestly, I felt a little weird about putting anything from this group because Take Two's been having a lot of like legal issues and but when it comes down to it, it's Gearbox and Gearbox they are they are kind of owned by Take Two, but they're not the part of the problem, you know? All they did was come out with a looter shooter genre essentially, and it's been one hit after another with them. They maybe took a little long to get to part three, in my opinion, but now that it's here and it looks fantastic, and it seems to have a lot more dynamic as far as abilities, being able to spam those abilities. That used to be a problem in the first game where you had to make like pretty much a perfect build to be able to spam stuff like turret if you're rolling stuff like that. Um, the just the sheer number of guns, the guns having secondary abilities. They're like secondary fire abilities instead of something like TK's wave, which was the TK Baja gun from the very beginning of one of them, where it was a shotgun that shot literally in waves. It was like 5 or 6 shots that just streamed towards the enemy in a wave. But now that those type of attacks are actually going to be, on command as a secondary shot, so you can either go with your burst or maybe you get that ability as a secondary thing, and maybe they detonate because, you know, having that shotgun seemed cool at first, but then when you realize only like 2 shots would always hit because it's literally a horizontal line of bullets, you got kind of annoyed with it. Waited for your next upgrade, moved on. So yeah, there's a lot going on in this game that they've done a really good job of advertising it. Of course, going back to the political stuff of it, like Randy Pitchford is not he's not a good guy. He hasn't been a good guy in a while, and he shits on everyone just for saying the obvious, like maybe don't assault Claptrap's voice actor in the hotel. And maybe don't leave porn on a thumb drive at a medieval times. Like, he does weird shit. And then the big thing also is this is going to live on the Epic Game Store on a PC side for quite a while. That's another thing. Uh, Games have had most companies this year have had like one drama or another. Let me know if you want to see something like that in the comments. If you want to see us like just recap all the drama, or at the very least, if you want to know more about it, reach out to us and we can probably connect you with the right channels and stuff. Because there's great guys doing great work on this. Angry Joe, Jim Sterling, those type of guys. And instead of like rehashing, we'd rather you just see it from their perspective. But yeah, those were 7 games. I wanted to keep this nice and concise. There were some other games, some maybe notable mentions. So I just wanted to get those out of the way. Final Fantasy VIII, by the way, guys, comes out September 3rd, the remaster. And it's coming out on everything. If you haven't played that game, it's a strong game. It's a very strong game. The gunblade's probably one of my favorite weapons ever. So please, if you need to if you need to see some more of that, or you need to play that, or you haven't played that, please buy that. Show that game support because it's been a while, man. I never felt like they were gonna actually cover it, and there was a rumors for a while that was lost too, that they just lost a copy. So this is our Facebook page. You're probably watching us from there now. If not, please like or follow. We're up to 129 followers. Thank you all for hooking us up with 129 followers. We're actually now at the point where we're considered a gaming channel by Facebook. So thanks, guys. Congratulations to us. That's awesome. We're gonna make a big push starting now, honestly, because all the games are coming out now, and between our stopgaps and stuff like Rocket League, like I said, I'm gonna be doing Astral Chain and probably Greedfall. If you guys want to see more of Final Fantasy 14, I'm sure Ari and Gio would oblige to that. Absolutely love that game. Everyone does. Gio's still doing his Cuphead stuff. Let me know if you actually want to see some Gears 5 multiplayer. I'm not 100% confident in my skills, but if you want to see us play that and laugh our asses off as we get murked, that's fine too. Let us know what you think about the Overcooked stream too, with our guest star Mike. And yeah, just check us out, man. We're thankful for anything you can give us, and the thing you can give us the most right now is just a follow and a like. That's fine. If you give us a little bit of time and communicate with us during the streams too, fantastic. Totally down for that. And let us know if you have any suggestions on like how to improve the show, if you have anything, or if you're interested in being part of the show. We're not outside the realm of taking applications on this seriously. We'd rather create a gaming network versus just one person be on all the time, and that's why we did this little setup where it's a different person every day. And if it's your cup of tea, maybe all of us are your cup of tea, or maybe just one of us is, but we just wanted to be there and be diverse for you. So let us know if you want to see more about more about what we've covered today. Let us know if there was a game that we missed, that we just absolutely missed. Honestly, I was just focusing down for about an hour or two before the episode, just going, I got like 15 to 20 trailers that have come out, but what do I really like, And that's what I went with, and try to do some shout outs for everybody involved. I know Borderlands 3 is something that Gio's interested as well. I know I didn't mention that, but it's something that we can definitely stream as a team. So if you want to see that, let us know. I know I keep saying that, but we do want to work with you guys. We've done polls for several games that we've played to completion now. Metro and Observation on my end, for sure. And let us know if you want to just recommend a single game, or if you want to keep doing the votes. I don't mind either way. And I'll probably start that again next week with maybe, Gears versus something, So let me know. You guys have a great night. We're going to wrap it up. I'll be back on tomorrow to start a new season of Rocket League. And we'll take it from there. Take it easy, guys. You have a great night. Peace.